Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so today I want to talk about Games Workshop and their weird pricing right now. It's bizarre, it really is. It's kind of this bizarre thing they've started to do, and I'm going to talk about some skirmish games as well, but I kind of need to talk about all of this. Now, they seem to be having their conscience is coming back. They're kind of discussing, and I'm just going to go through this because I'll find a unit for this. Anyway, infantry. They're not being the money grabbers that they used to be. This sounds weird because they're actually kind of hitting the average here with their models. I know it sounds weird, I'm looking at Warlord games, but let's look at the Mechanicums. And Mechanicum is the best description for this, right? You've got the Phalanx cohort there for 4750, and you've got the Thrall's Covenant there for 4750. Now, this does look kind of expensive for 20, it's 20 models for 4750, and if we look at the Astarians here, £45 for 20 models. Basic infantry, 20 models, £45. 2750 is £52. Let's have a look. £55 for two of those. But that's starter, and you get a little bit more in there as well. So you got some extra. You got your Cypher Prime. So that's a better starter set anyway. That's a nice little starter set. But basic infantry, 20 models, £45. And if we go to Wildwest Exodus here, 20 models for Wildwest Exodus, we'll go to Braves, £44. So they're kind of hitting the average here. They're not going extortionately overpriced. They're kind of hitting what everyone else is. £37 for, well, that's about 40 models, isn't it? Yeah. Warlord Games is awfully cheap, and it's what makes them so good. They are really cheap. I love them for that. But like I said, when we look at the average as a whole, we're seeing that Games Workshop is hitting the average on their prices. There you go. You're paying the same for game. You're paying a little bit more for Games Workshop, not extortionately more, but you would pay for Mantic or Wildwest Exodus. And I think that's a good thing. I think this is a move in the right direction for Games Workshop. And the same goes for things like named characters. Well, leadership, £24 for the Archmagos Prime. And if we go to Conquest, £25 euros for a character in Conquest. And if we look at, and it's £19 for Walks Looking. Of course, I know what the price of Walks Looking is. She's my favourite character. There you go, £19. So once again, we see Games Workshop just about hitting the average of the prices for a single figure in their newer stuff. And I cannot say Games Workshop's doing anything bad now, because if they are looking at the competition, such as Warlord Games, Mantic, Warcradle, etc., and going like, this is the prices they're charging, let's charge similar. Let's charge, something quite close to it, and then that will be we'll start marking to these companies. And I have absolutely zero issues with this. And when we look at the new games, obviously the biggest release lately is of course Kill Team, which is what sort of got me thinking about this. The Kill Team box is £67.50, and people go, that's a damn good price for a skirmish game, considering that the average for a skirmish game is around about £90 to £100. So they're well under the average for everyone else. The cheapest one is Judge Dredd at £62. And though Judge Dredd, you do get the full rulebook, and this is just some sort of starter handbook. Yeah, it's this, when it comes to their models and the boxes, they're going down this route of looking, it does seem that they're looking at other companies now and saying, okay, what are they charging for their boxes? What are they charging for their units, for these skirmish games? And Kill Team's a good one to experiment on with this, and same with Horus Heresy, so they can sort of, practice it and whittle it down for 40k and Age of Sigmar. This is a good thing for everyone because it means if they're actually starting to consider Warlord Games, Mantic and everyone else as competition, it's actually good for everyone because people are going to be paying the same amount no matter their game and or their company they're supporting, and they can actually talk about it openly without going Games Workshop's too expensive when the prices are showing that they're pretty much the same. There you go, Casquins are £42.50, most highest price is the Legions at £46. And the reason I bring those two up, because it's important, is because if we look at the posses for Wild West Exodus, because I freaking love these models, the lowest is £39, and I believe the highest is £44. And that is the Watchers. Let's see if we can bring it up. And the Watchers one is really nice too, because I've got that box. It's the Cerulean Clade. It's a lovely box as well worth getting. It's got plenty of models in it too, which makes it, there you go, most expensive is £50 for the Vengeance of White Earth. So even in that case, you can say, hang about, like Games Workshop's actually slightly cheaper than Wild West Exodus. But we're looking at the averages here, so we're talking about 40 quid to 50 quid. And same with Games Workshop, we're seeing, £46 being kind of the highest. So they're going with the average of everyone else. Even Conquest isn't immune. First Blood, £50 for a start warband for Conquest of First Blood. So they're going with the average, and in some cases they're slightly higher, and in other cases they are slightly lower. Or in the case of the box sets themselves, they're considerably lower. And if this is a new leaf for Games Workshop, they're starting to talk to the customers, actually think about the customers, thinking about how they can actually compete in this market properly now that more people have moved away to other game systems and other companies and even 3D printing. Maybe this will start being a new leaf, like I said, a new leaf for Games Workshop. That they're actually doing this. They're going to start thinking about you, me, who play these games, who enjoy these games. They're going, wait, if they're willing to pay, they're only willing to pay such and such. This is the average that they're charging. Maybe we should just charge the average, and that's it. And I'm for that. If that is the route they are going down, I am absolutely for it because it shows they are actually customer focused now, rather than they're not after the whales anymore. They're not after those who buy big bundles and never play them and paint them or anything like that. They are looking at the ones who will buy the single box or the small units, and they will go, hopefully they'll price accordingly. We might even see a price drop, hopefully, with everything else again to go with these units. And I think it's a good thing. I cannot argue. Like with Mechanicum, it's £47.50 for 24s, and as I showed you, 2 boxes of Braves are £22, and 2 boxes of Astarians, basic infantry as well, are £20.50, so it's 40 quid. So again, it's hitting that kind of average with a little bit more. Let's make sure I got the Astarians right there. £45. So it's £2.50 less. So for the same amount of models, they are starting to hit the average. And I can't complain about that. I cannot sit here and say Games Workshop is more expensive when now their newer releases are very much the same as everyone else. And it's really good for them. I have zero issues with this. Let's go to Horse Heresy a minute. Because I'm sure that... Let's go to Blood Angels because it's first. We've got to keep forgetting that. And... here we go. Ignore the resin stuff. £57 for them. And £52 for... See, this is the older stuff, see? Older stuff's more expensive. £52.50 for 20 Tactical Marines. Where when you look at the Covenant... Thrall's Covenant being £5 cheaper, but more in line with everyone else, it does look like a good move. And I cannot complain. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of Games Workshop pricing and how they might be turning over a new leaf. I hope this continues. I hope that they can continue looking at other companies and pricing accordingly. I hope they continue. I think it's a good thing for them. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As I said, if you wish to save money on your wargaming, go to Wayland Games down below for up to 20% off and free delivery after £20. Also, for every £1 you spend, you get a point, and when you get 100 points, you get £1 off. or something like that. It's a really good scheme. They have this scheme where I think it's like you've got this really good scheme where points actually increases a discount which you can spend in the shop, which is great. I use it all the time. I usually use it to get the first next day delivery sort of thing. That's how I use mine. Anyway, there's that, and of course there is my merchandise as well. Forbidden Planet. Never forget Skyforge, and finally there is Patreon because business. Bye bye.